Okay, so today we're going to talk about meditation because I know it's a subject that a lot of people struggle with. And I think they struggle most of all because they don't understand a couple of things. For example, in the TV show Parks and Rec, there's a scene where Ron Swanson gets invited to go to a meditation center for the day by Chris Traeger, his boss. And so they go to this meditation center and then do the meditation thing. And when the session is over, Ron says, I was not meditating. I just stood there quietly breathing. There were no thoughts in my head whatsoever. I don't know what these other crackpots are doing. And the joke, of course, is that he was meditating the whole time. Now, I get that this is a comedy show, but it also kind of demonstrates that there's a lot of misunderstanding regarding meditation out there in the world. A lot of people struggle when they sit down to meditate because they have misunderstood expectations about what meditation actually is. They think when they sit down and start meditating and start focusing on their breath, they mistakenly believe they need to think about nothing, which is what Ron Swanson was saying. And so they set out to actively think about nothing, to think no thoughts. And it never works out. No matter how hard they try, thoughts continue to bubble to the surface. Thoughts like, am I doing this right? Am I ever going to get good at this? What was it that we needed from the grocery store? And so on and so on. And they start to feel guilty and confused because they're never able to shut this narrator up, this narrator in their brain that never turns off. And so they get frustrated with meditation because of this, and then they give up. No one ever told them, hey man, that's not what you're trying to do. That's a losing game trying to do that. Or another common misconception that I see in the world of meditation and spirituality is people are told to focus on their breath. So, what do? They try and think about their breathing, about their breath. They turn their thoughts to their breath, trying to use their ego mind to focus on the breath, using that narrator to think thoughts about their breath. And of course, this doesn't work either. So then they get frustrated. They think there is something wrong with them. And They think, why don't I get this? Why does everyone else seem to get this and be able to figure it out, meditation, but I can't? And no one ever sits them down and tells them that's not what you're trying to do when you're meditating. You're not just trying to turn your thoughts to focus on your breath. Now, there are a lot of different techniques, meditative methods, different traditions out there. And I don't pretend to be an expert on any of this stuff. And we'll maybe talk about some of the other techniques in the future. But today we're just talking about plain Jane meditating. And I'm just giving you my perspective on things that I've picked up along the way while walking this path. So, in my experience, the narrator of the ego mind, it's always there. It never shuts up. For some people, it does. But for me, the thoughts continue, even during very deep meditation. But what does happen for me as I get into these deep meditative states is I start to detach from that thought stream. I'm able to take a step back and watch it unfold rather than being the narrator. It's like getting out of a river, climbing up onto the riverbank, and just sitting and watching it go by. Ram Dass talks about this, and he describes it like standing in Times Square watching the text go by on the digital displays. And the reason you're able to do this is not because you used your thoughts on your breath. It's because you turn your attention to your breath. And that's different. That's an important distinction. You're not focusing your mind on your breath. And that is what allows you to go deeper into your meditation and become the witness, to become the observer. This is a practice, and it takes practice. And most people are not going to understand what I mean when I say you don't turn your thoughts to your breath, you turn your attention to your breath. And it takes practice to get there. As you practice all of this, and you start to spend more time detached from the narrator, you start to wonder, well, if I'm not the narrator, then who am I? What am I? And that's where this whole rabbit hole leads. That's what meditation is all about. And that's where you find real yoga. I hope this helped you. These are just some of my thoughts. Keep practicing and let me know how you're doing. Thanks for watching.